Hi, I'm Henry Holland. I am a ceramicist and designer, and we are here in Leicester shooting my new collaboration with Vinterior and Harlequin. So the process of choosing the fabrics for the pieces really, I was going to say it was really easy and natural. I struggled with a couple. Some of them were like straight away I knew exactly what I wanted. For example, these chairs that I'm sat on, I knew that the square, cubic kind of shapes of the chairs would lend itself so perfectly to this large Blenheim check boucle that we've used. And then other ones I kind of faltered a little bit and I kind of changed my mind a few times. But it was really about letting the pieces and the silhouettes of the furniture dictate which fabrics would work the best. That and me being checked in terms of the capabilities of the fabrics. So we had to make sure we were using upholstery fabrics rather than drapery fabrics or occasional upholstery. I got checked a couple of times. I don't sit down much. My personal taste is I love antiques, I love vintage. And you know, when I recently renovated half of my home, we saw so many pieces from Vinterior. It's really just about, I love pieces that have a story. I love pieces that have, been around a long time, kind of imagining houses that they've lived in before, things that they've seen. You know, it's kind of like if these walls could talk vibe, but in furniture form. Just love there's so much amazing furniture that's been made already and is in the world and, you know, deserves a fresh new life and a second chance. So with the sourcing process, it was really just about going to Vinterior website and just really looking through, making sure that all of the sellers were in the UK. We really wanted to work with and support UK sellers. And then, just sourcing pieces that we felt would create a collection once brought together. I think it was about showcasing the capabilities of upholstery across different areas of the home, which is why the wardrobe is probably something that you wouldn't instantly think about with upholstery, but because I had upholstered the doors of my dressing room in my home, we wanted to sort of reference that and show people how to use upholstery fabrics on pieces that weren't necessarily just sofas and armchairs. It was really just about pieces that felt like design classics that could, you know, really hold the prints and the kind of the weaves and the textures of the fabrics. We didn't want anything that would feel overpowering once we incorporated the Harlequin collection with the interior pieces. The piece that I'm sat on, I tried to buy for my own home off Interior. My husband vetoed it and said no. So this is my way of actually sort of working with them in one small way, getting to sort of see them. I want these armchairs. I'm actually going to be really pissed at the person that buys them because I want them. I mean, I don't have a specific place that I want these pieces to end up. I just want them to be in a home where they're loved and appreciated. And you know, my whole ethos in design is just creating things that bring joy to people's everyday lives. And so any way that any of these pieces can do that, then that's where they deserve to live. Historically, the era that I was obsessed with was probably a mixture of the 1920s and the 1950s. I think my taste has evolved probably more so away from the 1950s towards the 20s. And maybe that's just kind of the home that I currently live in. I live in a period home and 20s pieces work better in there. Maybe it's trend, but yeah, I think if I had to pick one era, currently I would say the 20s. I spot quality in a world full of lookalikes. I would say primarily by shopping vintage because, you know, vintage pieces have been made to last. You know, if they're still around and they're still being used today, I feel like that is a really good sign of quality. I think, good design stands the test of time. And that really kind of sort of speaks volumes when you're working with vintage pieces. If someone was nervous about statement furniture, I would say, what's your problem? I mean, I don't know if we've met, but I love statement furniture. I love statement outfits. I love statement pieces. No, I think statement furniture is a really good way of being a bit bolder, you know, rather than kind of painting your room like fluorescent chartreuse or like a lime green. You know, that's something that kind of is harder to change maybe, or I think furniture is something that you can be a bit more playful with. You can keep the kind of the groundings and the basis of your home quite neutral. You can work with natural tones of wood and raw plaster and things like that, and really work in a textural way rather than anything too bold, and then actually inject the boldness through furniture pieces, I think is a really great way to sort of start to do it. I'd say like 60s playlist. Don't know why I think 60s, because that's not the reference for any of the fabrics, but it's saying 60s. The piece in the collection that surprised me the most when it was finished was the green marble boucle two-tone chair, because I think the way that we've managed to incorporate a lot of the original design features through using the piping, using a plain mixed with my kind of woven boucle and the textures. It was probably in my head the hardest one to visualize, and actually when it's finished, I feel like it's one of the hero pieces for sure. If I could only choose one, it would be this pair of chairs, because I adored them before. They've been in my wish list for over a year. When we started the project and I was going to look at the pieces, I was like, well, they're already in my wish list, so I can have those. And I'm just devastated that my bedroom isn't big enough. Thank you so much for listening to me talk about my collection. I'm so proud of it, and I can't wait to see it come to life and see you guys all shopping it online. And I'm going to be so jealous when I watch all of these pieces go out the door into your homes.